Hey everybody, welcome back. This is part 3 of a 4-part series about what a service dog is with my awesome friend Barb, who is sharing just fire gold information here, especially about how to take care of your service dog, how to train your service dog. I mean, just so much information. I have people reaching out because they've heard this episode or these parts of these episodes of part 2s out there. And they're like, we want to be on your show. How can we get a spot on the show? So it's getting out there. Let's help spread this information. The previous 2 episodes are on. This is going to be part 3. Part 4 is next week. We left off where we're just talking about the wonderful care that Barb does with her dog Bogo and all of her dogs. But and then we are going to pick up where we first met. So I hope you enjoy the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Get onto Spotify or podcast or wherever you get your podcast and like and subscribe to the podcast and all the other places I am on. And I love you guys. Thanks so much for listening. Have a doggone positive day. Bye. I met you in 2001 when I expanded my business, and I knew Rocky. I feel like I met Gilligan.
What?
I think I met Gilligan or Olson. I can't remember.
I think you might have met Olson, but I do think you met Gilligan when you came to my house one time.
Yeah.
In the last few years.
Yeah, Gilligan was a black retriever, a golden, not golden retriever.
Yeah, he was a cross.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Do they mix Labrador retrievers with golden retrievers?
A lot. And some are, they say that it sometimes makes the best temperament for the work. But there are full Goldens and full Labs. They have their own breeding program. Yeah, so it's not like other places that go to the pound, which is fine, but they have their own program as far as breeding.
I like that because there's a lot to be said about genetics. And yeah, there's nothing that is going to, like, if you could go to a shelter or a rescue organization and get a dog and select for, certain things that dog already offers you behaviorally, screen it, etc., and turn it into a service dog. That's totally possible. Right. But I like the fact, and I believe the guide dog, Southeast guide dog, as far as I know, have their own dogs that they breed specifically because the lines it's genetic. It's like things that are hardwired. You have working animals, It's a no-brainer, really.
And they try to breed, and they will take dogs that are, that are donated if their lineage is good, because what they try to do is breed out different diseases that can be common, like cancer. So they try to breed that out.
And hip dysplasia, right? Because we're talking about a larger breed dog.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's I for me personally and professionally, I think it's really a responsible way to go about breeding the dogs. And otherwise, why bother breeding them if it's just going to be for whatever? And so, all right, so Olive Garden, you had to be moved. That pisses me off so much that they actually ask you, inconvenience you, because you've got a bunch of entitled freaking people with their dog, their pet dog,
absolutely,
at the fucking restaurant. Like, really? Do better, Olive Garden. Seriously? Yeah. And you could have, you could have made a total. That would have been Yeah, that would have been an interesting conversation if that was happening to
I
me,
just,
because just
sometimes I'll abdicate, but sometimes I just want to eat my
I know.
meal.
Sometimes you're like, man, I'm hungry. I want the Olive Garden trio on, Ford Fiddle. You know, I
Yes.
don't want I don't want to deal with this crap of these ignorant people and ignorant restaurateurs.
Oh, and there's another thing I'd like to talk about petting a service dog.
Yes,
Other
we'll
people,
totally we'll
yeah,
totally get to that. I just wanted to go back to the Verizon store. Um, was this dog in the Verizon store? Like, did you see any vest on this dog, or
no,
it was
no.
just somebody's in there with their dog?
And she didn't even have, she had a leash. The leash that she had on the dog was a rope. And my thing is, the dog was so big and powerful. If
That's
it
a
wanted,
freaking Great Dane.
yeah, yep. And if you have to hit your dog to get your dog to lay down, and the dog still didn't lay down.
Of
Like
course not. It
it
doesn't work.
wasn't even phased.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know how hard you would have to punish and how you would have to punish that dog to get them to submit to lay down when they're highly aroused like that,
Right,
because they probably don't see other dogs and the lady doesn't even have a freaking proper leash, and you're in
right.
the fucking Verizon store. Like, I
And
mean, what is
then,
wrong with this picture? Also, what is wrong with the businesses here? Here's what pisses me off, Barb, and I'll let you finish your thought too. Like, what
uh-huh,
pisses me off is that these business owners, Verizon, Olive Garden, and I'm sure there's so many more, are like, no, let the crazy entitled people stay.
right, right.
You over there, are you like really fucking ableist assholes? Why am
Uh,
I having to leave? Because what are you afraid to enforce the law? But you're all
yes,
okay with enforcing it with me or you if you're like in a different situation where there's no other dog around. Have you encountered asshole people who think you're just a regular just person walking around with your dog?
um, it's very rare, but I have. I mean, uh,
Yep.
but like I've been asked when I first got Rocky, I was in New York, and that's where I got Rocky from.
Yeah.
Um, a McDonald's that was, you know, he's. They're like, you can't bring the dog in here, and I'm like, yes, I can. And we always carry a little card that
Right.
has an excerpt of the law. So if
Yeah.
we do get pushback, we can show that, and it does make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, on the ADA site, I'm going to take this down. On the ADA site, it says that the service dog doesn't have to wear anything. Let me go back to that page.
Right. They don't, and the laws are kind of lax because they don't want to penalize somebody that does have a disability and needs a dog. But the thing is, it's backfired because um so many service dogs, they've been attacked by these dogs that are just pets. And some people have had to give up their highly trained service dogs because when they're attacked, they're too scared to
Yeah,
do their job.
right. It ruins the service dog.
It does. And the thing is, a lot of money and time and love are are put to these dogs. And can you imagine being someone with a disability that had to wait sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years for their dog, and
Yeah.
have to retire them because of that.
Right. 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 And then, I mean, that opens up a whole nother can of worms, because then what's going to happen to that dog, that's what their job was, and then how quickly can that person get another service dog so that they can have a dog that they can go, maybe they have a dog that maybe they work, somewhere, or they are really social, or whatever the hell it is, or just a person who's trying to live their life and want to go
Right.
out with their fucking dog that happens to be a service dog because they have a disability. Like what happens then? People don't realize the impact that their actions have.
Absolutely.
And this is something that just regular dog owners deal with, like other
Mm-hmm.
dogs, people with other dogs coming up to your dog, and their dog is not friendly, but they're like whatever, and then their dog attacks your dog, and now your dog is messed up in the head.
And not only that, I mean, I pray that I never am in that situation,
Exactly.
because
What are you
not
gonna do?
only not only can the dog get hurt, but the human could get hurt as well.
Right. Because I'm not physically equipped to protect my dog and fend off your dog. If I had a service dog right now, I, like, no. What are you supposed to do?
The only thing I can do, if God forbid I'm in that situation, is
Mm-hmm.
I have to let go of the leash. And
Yep.
because the dog has got to defend himself,
Yep.
I can't hold on to him and he'll get hurt worse. So I
Yeah.
just pray that never happens. But I wish people would realize. I mean, recently I was on the trail by my house to give Bogo exercise. I turn up my chair really, really fast, and Bogo can gallop, by my side.
Nice.
And a dog did not have a leash. It was a golden retriever. It started running towards me. Now, I don't know if this dog is a nice dog or not. And
Right.
thank goodness the dog was okay and it was friendly. But he came right up in my dog's face before the owner, came to get him. And I've been told so many times, oh, he's friendly. Oh, he listens. Well, he listens until he doesn't listen.
Exactly. And what if your dog, I mean, typically your service dogs aren't going to react, but if you just have a regular dog could react to that invasion of space, or that rushing on to them, or whatever. You don't
Well,
know. You can't
the
predict behavior.
the thing is, like, even if I have to take my dog like 10 feet out of my house for him to go to the bathroom, I put the leash on. I will never. That's the only way that I can keep control. Um, it bothers me so much that people don't leash their dogs.
Yeah, and there's a leash law, and people pretend that there's not a leash law. And Pinellas County is a busy county,
Yeah.
and Port St. Lucie County is a busy county. Like pretty much all of Florida, and probably even now parts of Cedar Key, are like, there's a lot of people around. And it's not like we live on these farms with acres of land, and like in the movies. We're not a Disney freaking movie. This is real.
Right, right.
A lot of people out there, a lot of dogs out there, and that's why we have leash laws. It's to protect everybody. And like you said, they don't bite, or they're friendly until they're not.
Right, right.
So, like, I am so sure you have had instances with people who see you and Bogo and they're like, want to either touch him or just walk up and touch him without even asking anything or saying anything.
Absolutely. And people don't understand. Bogo does what he does for love and reward. When I'm out, and you have to like change your voice. It really doesn't matter what you say. But when Bogo does something good for me, for him to want to work and continue to work, I have to praise him. And if I use petting a lot when he does a good job. And if people come up to him and pet him, I always use the example like if we we have jobs and we would rather play all day, we wouldn't want to work, you know what I mean, if we had our choice.
Yeah.
So I have to keep him motivated, and if other people try to pet him, that pulls him away from myself. And um sometimes people, you know, take it bad because they'll get an attitude, but you
Like,
know,
this is about you. Like, you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it's about the person who has a service dog. Like, this is not about you, people. You know?
And I have a little sign on his cape. It says, "Do not pet. I'm working." You
Right.
know. Um. So people can get attitudes, and they just don't realize the harm, especially somebody with a guide dog, because if you
Oh,
have
right.
a guide dog, your life is literally in your dog's hands.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're crossing a street and they have a totally different training, because it's called intelligent disobedience. Like if you want to cross the street and the dog knows there's a car coming, he's going to give you a nudge or whatever they use to say, don't walk now.
Right.
So if other people are distracting him, that literally can affect the handler.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. In those situations, it's life or death.
And the difference is when I give Bogo a cue, he's supposed to do what I say when I say it. Whereas with the guide dog, they are trained to disobey if it's not safe.
Right. Like, not go forward when the
Right,
person's saying forward because it's dangerous for whatever reason. Maybe a car is going through the red light, or that's
right,
how they're trained specific. I also feel like if other people are, using your form of reinforcement, it can degrade it for you,
exactly.
as a reinforcer. Do you ever
Right.
use food as a reinforcer for him, or
Um,
toys,
I
or tennis
I
balls, or
do.
anything?
I do. And he's so food motivated. It's unbelievable. Like
Mhm.
in the vans I ride for transportation,
Yeah.
I like for him to look at me the whole time, because sometimes the driver will leave trash or different things. So what I'll do once in a while, when I see that it's that way, I'll take one piece of kibble, literally, and let him see it,
Yeah.
and he will go exactly where he's supposed to go,
Yep.
and sit and wait for me, and then I give him the kibble. And
Yeah.
if I'm trying to teach him something new, or even if like he did something really really hard, like
Yeah.
it took him one time, just to this is kind of a neat example. I had dropped my water bottle and it had 32 ounces of water in it.
Mhm.
um, well, he was trying to pick it up, but it ended to be like about 15 feet from me. And I was in my bed, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, how do I get him over there? And I'll be darned if eventually he got the water bottle, and he brought it to me.
Wow.
And it's like you always say when you train, you always say when they do something good, have a party. And
Yep.
I didn't have kibble then, but oh my gosh, I just like
It's
I got so excited and you did so
yeah.
good, got real animated. Because if you don't, this is something people might not know. No matter how good a dog is trained, if you don't praise the dog and give him that reward, he will stop working for you.
Right, because what's the motivation? What's in it for the dog?
Exactly.
And you have to think like that. Like some people just having your typical dog, people are like, well, why should I have to do that? He should just do it because I want him to. And it's like, dude, do you just like go to work for free?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be some kind of motivation for you to go to work or go to the grocery. Do things that
and that's his payoff: praise, motivation, sometimes a piece of kibble.
Right.
You know.
And I love that you mix it up, because I think mixing it up is important, because a lot of times people are like, think that one of the arguments for one of the arguments against using food in training that people have used as an argument with me is that you're bribing the animal, that you're just why they only can do it when you have a treat in your hand. And I'm like, no, nothing can be further from the truth, because we're
because you wean
marking
them off.
right. You're teaching them, you're marking the behavior with either a verbal cue or a clicker or something. You're reinforcing with the treat, and they're offering, you're shaping, they're offering those behaviors to you. So it's and hello, and I've said this for years as a dog trainer, I'm like, I don't walk around with a treat pouch.
Absolutely.
Like, I have treats around the house, but I don't walk around with a treat pouch. Like, once I'm done training you to do what I need you to do, am I going to give you treats? Absolutely. Of course I am. It's not going to be all the time. It may just be me saying, you're fucking awesome, I love you, yay, good boy, good boy, good boy, like you did with Bogo when he got your water, I mean.
Well, and another thing, sometimes the reward is when he's done, I play with his toy with him. Like we'll play fetch.
Yeah.
They need to associate that positive reinforcement with what they did.
Exactly. Yes, it has to be in the moment too, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. You guys, that was amazing. I love when she was talking about intelligent disobedience with guide dogs. It's just, dogs are incredible. This whole conversation with Barb is amazing. Next week is part 4. It's the final part. Let's get this information out there. Thanks so much for listening and spreading the word, and let's teach other people what it means to be around a service dog, or how to train a service dog a little bit. Anyway, I love you guys. Dog on positive day. Bye.